All right. Welcome back to the Seraphine podcast. I'm Seraphina Rocha, and we have a little bonus episode here because not only do I have one of my favorite podcast guests, Kara Gutierrez, here, we are also with Dr. Spencer Eagan. So the two of them, I love how serendipitously these two people are in my life. My husband is actually acquainted with Dr. Eagan, and I've heard his name several times and met him on a couple of occasions, but I never got to really pick your brain. And then lo and behold, Kara and I have been friends for now, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. Like an official friend.
Official friends. Yeah. And we've definitely had no clue that I had no clue that she was working with you. So as soon as she did, I was like, voila.
So are we official friends?
We are official.
Now?
We are a group.
It's official.
I love it.
It's a thing.
We'll
hold hands later and sing.
So great. I'd love to know the story of, we kind of talked about it a little bit off camera, on camera with Dr. Eagan, but let's talk about how you guys actually, how did you meet?
How did you meet?
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Okay. So we met because I fixed a botched job of one of the patients that he was seeing that had a tattoo previously. And I was like, let me fix the orange nipples. I got this. And I had no idea, like randomly a couple of days later, I don't think you know this. This is on the spot.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. So a couple of days later, I get a phone call by Dr. Eagan. And my boyfriend's a medical doctor. I know all about the HIPAA. I know all about the things. I was like, why is this strange man who has an MD next to him calling me and asking about a patient? And he was so professional about it. He goes, you have so-and-so. We have a mutual patient. He didn't really know. He was like, I just like the way he did her nipples. I'm like,
I loved it.
Okay. Is she okay? Like, is everything fine? I'm feeling like, I don't know, should I call my insurance?
She did such a great job, and we delved into this a little bit before, but it really, when I saw the work that she did, I was like, whoa, I was like, that is impressive, and we talked about it a little before about how it's honestly kind of changed the scope of what I tend to do as a surgeon in terms of breast reconstruction, and so I recognized her talent early on. She had been doing it for a while, but we were just kind of lucky enough that our paths crossed, and she's been spectacular for our patients to be able to really do that finishing touch with the reconstruction, and that was one piece that I just wanted to hit on is we're to the point where we tried to talk about like that really is finishing it, and there's good data that supports that the work that she does, putting on the tattoo at the end really helps the patient both physically and emotionally. And sometimes it sounds a little fluffy saying that, but like there's data that supports it. And we've had patients that have been very staunch in that I don't care about nipples. I don't want it. Mm-hmm. And just seeing the power of it, it's something that even in those folks, I ask about it every year, and over the course of several years, 10 years ish of doing this, the ones that finally are like, okay, if you think it's going to make a difference, those are the ones that come back in tears saying, oh my gosh, I can look in the mirror again. So it just shows the power of the work that she does, and the impact of what it has on finishing the reconstruction.
So being that it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and just coming off this beautiful weekend, Kara actually had an event, and you can kind of talk about it to listeners.
Yeah. So I have it's called Spot On Beauty Breast Cancer Foundation. I had a fundraiser this weekend, and we had a lot of fun. I did tattoos and auctions and raffles, and a lot of women. I had a special moment that was so cool, and I went to the back and I was tattooing. So I allowed Fox 4 came out, and I tattooed. Couldn't show a lot, but I tattooed. And this woman, she's like, I just really don't want anyone in here at all. And I'm like, okay. Knock on the door. I had one of your patients walk in. This is 3 of his patients, I'm telling you right now. So flipping cool. And she's like, hi. She goes, oh my God. I'm like nervous. I'm like been crying randomly. What's going on? And here I am, and I'm like, you know what? All three of these people, they've got Dr. Eagan. And she goes, I'm just nervous. And she goes, I'm sorry you're getting tattooed. And she goes, no, I'm nervous too. And she just starts blurting out. She goes, I'm Dr. Eagan. She goes, I'm Dr. Eagan. And I was like, yeah, it's cool. She's like, don't be nervous. You're fine. And she just relaxed a little bit. And then she was talking. And then another girl walks in. This is the only time I had ever had anyone walk in. It's me and my assistant, and that's it in the room besides now these two girls. Hey, I just want to say bye. I just want to say thank you so much. It's been amazing. And I was like, well, we're tattooing. And she goes, well, I'm tattooed too. And Kara did mine. She goes, well, come on in. She comes and she goes, I'm Dr. Eagan. She goes, what? She goes, yeah. And then she's like, I'm just nervous how it'll heal, how it'll look. I just don't know. At the same time, those women went like this and flashed. And
I love
my hands were on her, and I was touching her, and it was like electrifying. And they were like talking about you, and I'm like, I'm actually seeing him like a couple days, and they're like, we love it. It's amazing. They gloated about you. And I'm like, look at this symmetry. I'll show you the picture. And I was like, can I have this photo real quick of this? And I took a picture that'll stay forever in my heart, and I'll show you. And I would start crying. I'm like, I don't cry. So it was so powerful. They all talked about their tattoos. Every one of them, thank God on their own, this is who I am. And they were showing their tattoos. We tattooed a girl in front of everyone. It was so emotional. And going back to what you were saying, how it helps, I am so happy that you guys are now not saying, would you like to get a tattoo? Now it's like, you should get a tattoo.
Yes.
It's
yes.
great.
I think that, you see, I had a chance to speak to a few people at her event, and what was conveyed to me was this sense of, well, with breast cancer, if something is taken from you, they've already had so much taken from them through this cancer, and the fact that they can be, again, it's not about necessarily giving back, but in some ways it is. It's giving them something that allows them to move forward with this new body, that it's not just scars and it's just powering through the surgery, powering through cancer, that they can have a piece of what I think for most people, they don't want to come across as superficial, right? Because they just battled cancer. So why, what do I really care? I'm alive, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that it's so important that it's not about, I don't know, going to war and all the war wounds. Sometimes you can actually feel like something wasn't taken, but you're now a little bit more empowered.
You're owning it. They own
owning
it for
yes.
sure. They love it. I'm like, girl, you get an opportunity. You get a chance to do whatever you want to do. And because I'm a traditional tattoo artist, I know skin, I know scars. I do so many different types of tattooing over scars, whether it's just a regular augmentation or whether it's someone that has, switched from male to female, phyloplasties. I do anything. Mm-hmm. I literally just change the color of people's skin for a living to give the illusion of something that they feel confident wearing. Whether I'm doing a realism flower, covering those scars of gorgeously, place to how their body moves, by golly, they're going to love themselves and be better. And it changes lives. It really does.
And you could feel it at your event. Just as we kind of wrap up this section, I guess my question first to Dr. Eagan is, I'm curious about not only females with breast cancer, but male breast cancer. How often, is that common? And then talking a little bit more about age-wise detection, because it is Breast Cancer Month, what advice you give, but also speak to male breast cancer.
Yeah, absolutely. So male breast cancer is a rare entity. Like anything else, we try to focus on awareness too. If you look at the numbers, it's less than 1% of all breast cancer that is there. But if there is a lump or a bump, in a male, we'll obviously take it seriously. And there are some genetic mutations, such as BRCA2, that can make someone more inclined to get breast cancer as a male. There's some chromosomal abnormalities. There's a lot of other kind of scenarios that can affect that in general. But compared to the 1 in 8 of women that get diagnosed with the component of breast cancer, it really becomes more 1 in like 800 to 900 scenarios. So So it's not something that you see as often, and so it is not as much of a focus. But I don't think we're doing it those patients justice if we don't mention it, and it's not something that we probably talk about as much as we should. And so, the surveillance, a lot of it is based on history and age and risk factors, and so we're unique in that we work with some spectacular primary care doctors, spectacular high risk clinics that dictate a lot of the guidelines for imaging. In general, we tell people get it done. I know it can be scary, the first time, and even the next time. It's not and I'm not going to act like I've done it.
Well, and it's a strange thing too, because I at the beginning of COVID, little fun fact about Miss Seraphine is I actually got breast augmentation right at the beginning of COVID, like right before shutdown, and I've had mammograms before. I'm curious about detection with breast augmentation. I think a lot of women don't talk about it as much publicly. They talk to their doctor to the side.
That's a good question.
But
is there an angle I need to be at because I can't feel it on my normal? Yeah, I got fake boobies too.
Yeah, I know, right? Right.
Coming at me from both angles.
I know,
You're
right?
welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yes. So the biggest thing is when you are getting the imaging, let them know that you have breast implants. They'll do a diagnostic or an Eklund view to be able to capture that breast tissue. So the key is that you know what to say when you're going in. Obviously there's other modalities of imaging such as MRI. And there's FDA recommendations in terms of MRI related to breast implants, and that's really more to detect rupture, or if there's a suspicious area on mammogram that maybe plus or minus can't be delineated with ultrasound. MRI is kind of that next step that can be done. So we tell our patients, if you are due to get it, get it. As I'm doing, just breast surgery in general, the guidelines, are that if they should have imaging, we are very resolute in that, we want you to get that imaging beforehand. Just that way, if there is something there, we'd rather address it appropriately as opposed to miss it and go through this surgery and this recovery and then have to kind of backtrack down a scenario that may not give you the result that you're wanting with that initial surgery. So
all right, I'm like I said, I could pick your brain about so many things with breast augmentation. It's one of those things too where I remember when you make these decisions to alter your body, and essentially, I come from a very healthy background. I'm a yoga instructor. I'm somebody who's been a purist about a lot of things, and then deciding to do this, and also, the vulnerability of putting something foreign in your body. These are all things that, I think the more that, we have conversations about them, and about not being afraid, but kind of and being one with your body. I mean, I definitely have had a few moments.
It's an awareness. Yeah, absolutely.
Completely. I am definitely in the shower now more lately, being like, okay, these foreign things.
And then, I don't know, guys, I don't think y'all touch yourselves. Okay. Now, listen,
I'll let
Arian,
go ahead.
Arian,
you were directing that at her, right?
Right. Yeah. No, we're going to segue to the man part, because we're talking about male breast cancer. Because Arian, one time, he was a bodybuilder for 7 years.
And Arian is her partner in crime. Yes. Who,
so pretty. So pretty. But anyways, and like I was, just a normal, regular hug. And I'm like, wait, what is this? And I feel the breast before I tattoo. Did you know that? I do a really good examination.
That's great.
Yeah.
That is great.
I asked him and I examined him just to make sure if something was ever pop up, I don't know what it is, and I'm going to ask the doctor. And I was like, what is this? He goes, well, it's like a fat, not help. What is that?
So what I'm guessing, especially with this history of like bodybuilding and in that pathway, it's probably what we call gynecomastia. So it is breast tissue essentially that's behind the areola and
My
the
son
nipple.
has it. He's 12. Help us mothers out.
It's a very common thing that we see around puberty. You know, you'll see that breast bud that develops, and you know, there's a lot of scenarios where it will go away. You know, as we get older, if it sticks around through puberty, and you know, if it is larger than the areola or changing, we definitely recommend getting it evaluated. And a lot of times,
good to know.
You know, we partner with the primary care docs and even the endocrinologist to make sure that there's no physiologic reason for why it's happening. You know, there are certain abnormalities that you can find on lab work that can be a source for
and
why.
that's what you think first thing with men. And women, what's your first thought for women? I'm sorry.
No,
with a lump or a bump.
You're the same approach because it attacks fat.
Yeah, so absolutely, especially in anyone that has a new, you know, lump or bump involving the breast or chest, absolutely get it evaluated. And it can be scary, you know, it can be vulnerable, but you know, man or woman, you know, get it evaluated. The rate, obviously, in a woman of it being something such as breast cancer is, you know, 100 to 1.
Because us women can find it up here.
Compared to a male, but the best rule of thumb is get it evaluated. Don't wait. Don't sit on it. You know, that's. Even with Breast Cancer Awareness Month, you know, we will see a spike in our volume, in our diagnoses, just because we're putting it on the radar. So things like this are great. And, you know, even if think of like the Lance Armstrong initiative with testicular
100%.
cancer. And if you look at, you know, probably how many people were diagnosed, because that was brought to the forefront too. And so, you know, Breast Cancer Awareness Month has been a big initiative. I think it's been a powerful initiative, and it's something that I'm glad we do every year to facilitate early detection and
a gentle reminder. I mean, and no matter what, even though it's uncomfortable, and even though it is not fun to be going to the doctor because you have to. I'd much rather come see you because I want to. I feel like it's just necessary. I'm so glad that you guys are working together. I think that Kara has expressed in more ways than one to me about how it just has opened up a part of her life that, you know, I mean, you can put it into words. I mean, because she's changed so much in the time that she started.
You don't even know. Like, when I first came to you, I was a tattoo artist, permanent makeup artist, and I just worked on whatever walked in the door. I thrive off of different. I cannot see the same thing over and over again. I get bored. I'm a creative person, and I want to do that.
You don't hold still very easily. I've noticed that she is a go-getter. She is constantly moving. So I can see where, you know, having the variability suits you and your personality. And you know, we consider ourselves very lucky that, you know, our paths have crossed. I mean, the service that you do to, you know, our patients, my breast cancer patients that I have the opportunity to work with. You know, we can't thank you enough for how you take care of them.
Thank you. It means a lot. And I can't thank you in return. And I wanted to use this platform. I told Seraphine, I was like, can I take this over? She's like, go for it. Because when I first met you, our first patient together, because they have to know who I am in the room. So they're going to come in. And it took a while. Now they let me go. But it was a very fair skin, young, early, she's like 33 or something. And if anyone's ever done anything on a fair skin redhead, they're going to know something's going to happen. And everything failed for her first time, second time. It was like my first one, and here I am. Do you remember that moment?
Shaking in her boots.
And I'm like,
a little bit.
They're going to give me this girl. Okay. And it was the only thing that has ever worked on her since that day. And then every patient that came in had the same ish. Is this okay? Is this normal? And you listen to them like it's the first time you've ever heard it. And I'm like, wow, you've had the same question 5 times in a row. And I believe him every time like it's the first time he catch it. I'm like, oh, wait,
and that is a very unique skill. I did ask about your bedside manner, on her opinion, off camera, because as someone who went in very vulnerable saying, I want to get breast augmentation at age 43. The bedside manner of my doctor was very much like, don't worry, it's fine. You're going to be great. And it was, and he did a great job, but I still had fears going in. I still felt extremely vulnerable. I'd never been under anesthesia in that way. And to hear that, and this is, again, for people listening and are curious about if you want to pursue plastic surgery, or if you're in a situation to where you have to do reconstruction based on cancer. I mean, this is where I think it's so important to understand who you go to, and also understand that the emotions that will come up for you in altering your body or trying to, quote unquote, remedy or fix the body aesthetically, it's very vulnerable, and you do want to feel like it is not the first time you're doing the surgery, but it's a new experience. You are a special patient, that you don't see me as your fifth case of the day, but you see me as Seraphine Rocha. And the way that she communicated that your bedside manner is very much that you are dialed into that person and their experience from the moment they see you to the moment they go under. That is, and to the moment they wake up. I mean, it's an experience. And it sounds like you have the touch.
Well, I mean, it's great to hear. I mean, similar to you in your realm. I mean, you're a spectacular communicator. You make us feel comfortable. And, does this interview go the same way if you're not able to create that environment? Are you going to, learn what is inside of the person? And, and so I try to, ask the right questions. I try to listen, and you do your best. Do you get it out every single time? No, but sometimes it takes another visit even. And so, and then sometimes you're talking through it, and if there's anything in question, I say get them back in, and my staff knows that. Like if there's any question, get them back in. I want to talk to them. I want to know where we want to end up with this, and so. We work really hard. I mean, it's a product of, my staff is spectacular, and we have a nurse that just does our breast cancer education. That's her only role in our practice. We encourage all the family members to come so that they all feel good, because you hit it on the head. Any surgery is a time of vulnerability, and that is really where we feel like knowledge is power. And so, we really want people to understand it and embrace it. So
I love it. Well, for those of you who are listening, please know that if you have any questions, you can always put them below. I am lucky enough to have Kara in my life on the regular, and by, I don't know, is it the 7 degrees of separation with Kevin Bacon? I am with him. I may not have you like on my speed dial, but I can definitely get some questions answered for you. I hope this helps.
I thought we were BFFs.
I know, right?
I love it. We're BFFs now.
Don't worry,
right?
I'll be programming your number in my phone, and then
And
let me tell you, if it isn't my personal questions I'm asking you, oh my goodness,
gets it all the time.
You're already gonna get a new patient here. I'm already there.
You want it? His bedside manner is amazing. He taught me bedside manner, and he's phenomenal. Good human being.
Well, I hope this has been interesting for all of you listeners out there. If you'd like to learn more about Miss Kara Gutierrez, where can they find you, my love?
They can find me on 2 Instagrams. One is just strictly the areolas for people who don't want to sift through the other stuff I do. It's called, one word, hyperrealistic _areola tattooing.
And that wasn't taken on Instagram?
I even trademarked it. I trademarked that, by the way.
I love
it.
And
then one word, Kara, Spot On Beauty.
I love it. And Dr. Eagan, everything should be filtered pretty much through Ascentus, right?
Yes, AscentusPlasticSurgery.com. We also have Spencer Eagan MD Instagram accounts. We have Casey hairtransplant.com is our hair transplant website. But the easiest way to get a hold of us is through AscentusPlasticSurgery.com, through our website.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
I'm so glad to see my
Finally.
people and all of us together.
You got to check his spot out. You guys, it's gorgeous. He did not up it enough, but I'm going to go ahead and throw it in there. It is literally like it's a palace, and you feel like, oh my goodness, this is gorgeous. It's so well done and chic and all the things that Seraphiend out.
I love it.
But it's home. It's like home. Just want to throw that.
Oh, I can't
Thank you.
wait.
It's
I can't wait
amazing.
to make my official visit.
Yep.
Well, thank you again for listening to the Seraphine podcast. If you liked what you listened to, please hit the like and the subscribe button, and I will see you on the flip side. See you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you.